Okay, in this video, we're making a wish list of what we want to see in Mortal Kombat 13, or as people are calling it, Mortal Kombat 2, but I think this train of Mortal Kombat 1 is dead, and they're probably not going to call it Mortal Kombat 1. They're probably going to call it something else. What do you think?
Yeah, calling it Mortal Kombat 2 would be weird. But I wouldn't put it past them to do. But I think the whenever we get weird reboots like this, the trend is to like have a like a thing one, and then stuff after that is like colon, like it's thing colon. So like we get like Mortal Kombat Revelations because they always use Revelations, and it's always like Resident Evil Revelations or Mission Impossible Revelations. So I think we'd see something like that.
Probably. Like what they did in the 3D era. They should name them with names. So the first one should have
Yeah,
been Mortal Kombat New Era or something like that.
100%. It's like they kind of did it soft in the 3D era at first. They transitioned because if you notice, the symbol for deception for Deadly Alliance is like a V, which would be 5.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But they don't call it Mortal Kombat 5. They call it Mortal Kombat, Deadly
Yeah,
Alliance.
yeah, it's like
So
a
that's kind of
subtle sign, isn't it, to show that it's the fifth game, but they don't call
yeah.
it 5. And there's that weird jump from Armageddon to Mortal Kombat 9. Apparently, MK versus DC is supposed to be MK8.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. Like it officially is the 8th game because Mortal Kombat in 2009 is considered Mortal Kombat 9. Retroactively, it's considered Mortal Kombat 9 though, because then it didn't have a number, but then Mortal Kombat X came out and it was Mortal Kombat 10.
Oh
And people were
yeah.
like, wait, that's weird.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't think. Okay, I just thought of this now, right? The fifth game, they used Roman numerals to call it 5 on the cover. And the 10th game, they used a Roman numeral too. I didn't catch
Yep.
that. Just realized it right now.
It's
Wow.
kind of weird because they only did that with Mortal Kombat 2 originally, because then 3 was the like the standard 3,
Oh,
not a
yes,
Roman.
yes, yes, you're right. Okay, so, sorry, you wanted to say something?
I was gonna say I think probably, especially back in the day, they probably just picked what looked cool. Like the 2 looks really cool in the Roman numeral.
Yeah, it does actually. So, I have my wish list ready here, and the viewers here can see what's going on. We have some concept art here, which was generated by Yagami, and I guess we'll start with the first thing on my list, and then we'll go onto your list, and then my list, and your list. Take it in turns. So, my first thing is we need a big boss in Mortal Kombat, and we need a bigger sub boss, just like how they used to do in the old games, where you had Shang Tsung, but you had the massive Goro just before him, and Shang Tsung's smaller than him, but he's scarier. Similarly, you have a massive Kintaro, which is a beast, hard to kill, but then you have somebody who's smaller than him, but he's more dominant. Like you can tell that Shao Kahn is the alpha male in this game. He's the one who's holding Kintaro's leash. I want to see something like that in Mortal Kombat 13. I want to see a return to a big boss, a gigantic. Okay, it doesn't have to be a gigantic boss. The sub boss has to be gigantic. So my idea for the sub boss is, and I'll pop it up as a picture later in the edit. There's this. We've had a few Shokans. We had Goro in MK9. Who was it in MK10? It was Goro again, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had Goro come back in MK. He was the pre-order bonus, I think.
Ah, yes. Okay. MK11. I don't think we had a sub boss, or did we? Was it Geras?
I mean, Geras is like kind of unofficially, but you don't even fight him at the end of like the story mode, and I don't think you fight him in arcade. The ladder is normal, and then you just fight like Chronica at the end.
I see. And then in MK12 or MK1, sub boss. I don't think there's a sub boss at all. Oh, it's the mirror match. I guess they tried to
Right.
kind of copy the first Mortal Kombat game, with the mirror match, because there was mirror matches in there. You had to go through 3 of them before you got to Shang Tsung. And then you had Shang Tsung at the end, which, you know what, now that I think about it, I guess it's kind of forgivable, but I think Shang Tsung should have stood out more as a boss character rather than a normal character like the rest of the roster.
You know what I would have had them do? Like what would have been cool? I know you're not really familiar with King of Fighters, right?
No, I'm not.
So in King of Fighters around like the 2000s era, they used a system called strikers, which were kind of like cameos, where you'd call in a teammate and they do an attack and then jump back off the screen.
Okay.
In the 2001 game, the sub boss Original Zero, he has his own assists and he has 3 of them, and they're unique. You can't use them, and they're all really strong. So like if they had Shang Tsung have multiple cameos, that could have been really cool.
Yeah, what a great idea. See, look, we just think up of ideas on the spot. And why couldn't NetherRealm do this? What a shame.
Yeah, make him feel a little special, because like he's the big boss in charge of his realm, right? So he has like, he could be calling a Shao Kahn and a Shang Tsung and, maybe his own evil Geras. Like that would all make sense. That's his posse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly as you said, the big boss is supposed to be something special. Something like you reach the pinnacle of the game. You're fighting the biggest thing in the game that's supposed to kick your ass. And if you can beat this thing, you beat the game. But you don't have that feeling with the current Shang Tsung and the almost non-existent cameo Quan Chi.
Yeah, not at all. I guess I don't. Have you ever heard of the trope, the dragon? It's like on the trope site for like where it lists all the tropes for stuff.
No, I don't know.
So that trope is in stories. Like the big evil guy will have someone that's like their right-hand person that you kind of have to get through to even get them. And that person's called the dragon because, like, if you want to get to the evil wizard, you got to get through the dragon he controls. So that's like what Goro is to Shang Tsung and Kintaro is to Shao Kahn, where like, oh, you don't get to fight me yet. You need to fight this other badass that I'm in control of.
Exactly.
And it kind of sets up the idea of like, oh man, Kintaro was so hard. Yeah, but hold on a sec, because you got to deal with his boss still. This is the guy that keeps him in line. It's like, oh no.
Exactly. That's such a good way to put it. You can't just go to the boss. Like, you have to go through some formalities first. You can't, like, the boss is the boss. He has a special position. You don't just walk up to the boss. No, you gotta face his top champions first, his cronies. Like, you gotta get through them to get to the boss. You don't just walk into the boss's room like you own the place.
Yeah, it makes it feel like you're earning your way to fight this guy.
100%. Well, good way of putting it. I'll just throw in my silly little idea of a boss, which I came up with yesterday in a couple of minutes. So I'll play a clip here and it'll be in the edit, where you're talking to some NPCs in the Netherrealm, and one of them reveals that to the Netherrealm, and it was Lucifer. And Shinnok, when he came, he overthrew Lucifer and took over the Netherrealm. So maybe we could make a story with this Lucifer character, that he comes back from the Netherrealm and like he kind of wants revenge on Shinnok or something, and then he decides he wants the Netherrealm to take over the other realms or whatever. And I've made a concept art of this Lucifer person. I tried to make him like a cobra-headed kind of villain, where he has his normal form, a bit like Shinnok. So he has this elegant, dark print kind of look to him. The AI didn't get it exactly as the way I wanted in my head, but this'll do for now. And then he has a transformed state where he turns into this massive cobra beast. And that's the final boss you gotta fight. So that's my little idea. I don't remember what else I said about him. But for the sub-boss, since we had Shokans and stuff, I think it would be good to have a centaur return as a sub-boss. So I was looking through MK3 to look at the centaurs here, and there was this one that stood out to me. The one in the middle, he has long, scary hair, a bit like Raditz from Dragon Ball Z. So if we had this massive centaur with Raditz-style hair, where he looks imposing, dominating, and there's no hope of a normal person ever fighting this guy. It has to be at some sort of champion of Mortal Kombat. That would be awesome to have this kind of sub-boss and this as a boss. It fits in with what we're doing with the old MKs, and I think it would work. It doesn't have to be my silly idea about Lucifer, but what do you think?
I don't know if you did it on purpose or if it's just a happy coincidence, but there's like two really interesting things about that. Is like, you said he's like a cobra and it's Lucifer, so that's like the snake in the Garden of Eden. It's like that connection there.
Yeah, that was that was a total accident. I didn't realize about the biblical thing where the Satan is a serpent.
The other cool thing it made me realize though is you're making the devil's like herald, like, you know, the person before him would be a horseman. So it's like a horseman of the apocalypse for the devil.
I did not even connect that either. I must be a religious priest or something.
That work. I like it because so would you see his, like, would you fight his first form as like a regular like character, and then like he would transform for the second round if you beat him?
Yeah, exactly.
I always love
like
stuff
that.
like that.
Yeah, 100%. And by the way, since you mentioned this biblical stuff, we've got a horseman, we've got Lucifer. With this all in the front, we could bring back like a gothic theme to like how it was in MK3. I think that would all mesh together very well.
100%. I was gonna say with your ideas, a couple things. Like, one, to throw curveballs at the players. One of the things I'd love to do, and I can't remember if it's been in a game. There's been so many fighting games, it probably has. But when you said you'd fight him normal in the first round, I would love to see in a game where you fight a boss like that, and then when he transforms, as part of his animation, like he like swings his arms or something, and it breaks the counter for the first round victory on the opening animation screen for the round. So you have to beat him 2 more times in his final form. Like, he erases that fight even happened.
Ah, man, that's such a good idea. Wow. That's like it's like he's breaking the fourth wall. He's erasing your progress and saying, "Come on, then, let's do it for real this time."
Yeah, exactly the feel I'm going for, where the boss is like, that didn't even count, bro. Like, I was just messing around with you. This is the real fight.
Yeah, man, that sounds amazing.
Now, this might be a weird, because people have issues with gender swaps, obviously, with characters. But since since this would be a new character, what would you think if the centaur if we went with a female centaur instead of another male? That would be like the first female sub boss ever, and you could make her look really like neat. It'd be kind of a new look for the centaurs to see like a female member of their race.
Yeah, I don't mind a female centaur. That sounds like a good idea, actually. Because we've had Shiva, the female of the Shokan. So why not a female centaur as well? I bet she'd be really hard. And like the way you could... this probably sounds silly, but the way she'd be dressed up, she'd look like one of them Valkyries or something, but with a centaur body. And,
to kind of tie into like the gothic theme, like you mentioned, you could go with like kind of like gothic armor on her, where she looks like a Valkyrie knight sort of thing.
Yeah, and the long hair. She could have the long, scary hair.
Yep. Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool as a boss. especially like her like alongside kind of, if she's the physically imposing one, and then you have the Lucifer you described that's more like refined and like unimposing as far as like his physicality. He's just like, he looks like a powerful wizard. That then sets you up for his transformation of, oh, whoa, wait, hold on, this guy's like a huge physical monster.
Yeah, way scarier than the sub boss.
Yeah, exactly. He's just like holding it back, which is also appropriate for someone that's, you know, obviously named after the devil, because, you know, he's hiding his true power level.
Oh yeah. That sounds really good. That does. And you know, like how you said about the interaction with the counter. So he erases the counter. He's kind of breaking the fourth wall. So there was a thing in Mortal Kombat 2 where when you fight all the characters, and on the arcade ladder in MK2, it's like a mountain, right? And Shao Kahn at the top, he's not within the boundaries of everyone else, where they all have their little slots in the mountain, and Shao Kahn's outside of that. He's on top of the mountain like he's the king. And then when you reach Shao Kahn, he says things like, so when he beats you, he says things like, I win, or you know, you're fighting the game.
They're like the embodiment of the difficulty of the game.
Yeah, exactly. So that's, I want to see that kind of thing come back to, where the boss is like, I am the game, let's fight.
Yeah, and they did a great job of that before, because like you said, when Shao Kahn's saying I win, he's also the announcer for the game the whole way through, so he's been announcing you winning.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is super cool, because then, you know, just like when he's telling you suck and finish him, that's just Shao Kahn the entire time. So then when you do get to him, you can't get more fighting the game than that. This is the guy running everything. He might as well be the computer.
Yeah, exactly. And that just feels so cool to go through, to experience.
It makes you feel accomplished when you win, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you beat the game.
I was going to say, you were mentioning Conquest, where they mentioned Lucifer. I didn't know if you know, but we can see immediate kind of credentials for Lucifer and how strong he would be, because losing to Shinnok is not a, you know, that's not a knock on someone. Shinnok's a literal elder god, so most people would lose to him.
Yeah.
But in I don't remember if it's Chaos Realm or the Nether Realm. It might be Chaos Realm. If you read one of the characters' backwards lines, is them explaining that Lucifer is the same kind of being as Raiden and Shao Kahn. So he should at least be around them in power.
Oh yeah, you're right. I have a hazy memory about that. You've unlocked a memory in my mind, sort of a dormant memory.
A core napper memory.
A core napper memory. Yeah, I need to go back and find the guy who said that, because there was a part.
Yeah.
Sorry. Well, I was doing Conquest mode on stream, and there was a part of the stream where I actually recorded the voices of the people speaking backwards, and I reversed their audio. I think I might have run into one of them who talked what you just said.
And that was so cool too in the game, because I love how much lore was in Conquest mode hidden like that.
Oh yeah, it's good when the developers leave you to go find the lore yourself, instead of telling it to you in a cinematic story mode.
Yeah, it's not spoon-fed. It's more like the more invested you are in the game, the bigger the return you get from the game. It's not just like throwing stuff at you and going, whatever, here you go. It's like, oh, if you want to work for some stuff, come and get it. And we packed it full of stuff that you can find. That's great.
Yeah. Anyway, what's the first thing on your list then?
So it's funny we're talking about Conquest mode, because the very first thing on my list is I think MK1 suffered from the lack of this, which was an expansive single-player mode. And we know for a fact the Mortal Kombat community in general has really been wanting another Conquest mode.
Yep.
And I think they really need something like that. And we can even see Street Fighter 6 had a lot of success with their World Tour mode, which is basically just Conquest mode. And it's by far the best single player experience I've ever had in a fighting game. And the only things that come close are the previous conquest modes. You can go around all the places in the game, fight basically anyone, and you learn so much lore from playing it and get to see all the characters and interact with them. And that's what we really need for a new Mortal Kombat game. And it's a shame we didn't get that in Mortal Kombat 1. Not that I really like Mortal Kombat 1's story or setting, but the game doesn't help you like it, because if this was your first Mortal Kombat game, like you just said, all you get is what you get in the cinematics for the movie. I call it a movie. You know, their
yeah, exactly.
Single player cinematic story mode, whatever. It's a movie.
It's a movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Or what you get in endings, and it's not a lot. But someone coming into Street Fighter 6 as their first Street Fighter game, if they were doing that, you get introduced to all the characters, you learn all of their background, all of their personalities, why you might like them, how they fight. You learn the history of the world, you learn the new stuff going on in this game, you learn the past from the past games. And that's the 6th game, and it's not pretending to be a new game. It's Street Fighter 6, whereas Mortal Kombat 1 is the 12th Mortal Kombat, but it's calling itself Mortal Kombat 1, and it doesn't give new players stuff to sink their teeth into, to learn stuff, to feel like they were part of this setting.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think we need that.
Yeah, 100%. It's, you see, in Mortal Kombat 1, they have this invasions mode, which looks like it's like the building blocks of a conquest mode, but it's been turned into a board game instead, where you're running between different nodes and then activating fights. Now, I want to say something about that, and then I want to compare it with something else as well. So, when I played a bit of Invasions. I actually did force myself to try it out because it's there. I gotta try it. And to me, it just felt like between every fight, it's just a really long, unnecessary loading screen where I'm having to run from one node to the next when I would rather just fight one fight after another. Why do I have to do this stuff where I'm pressing up with my character and making him run and watching him run in an animation to the next one and then pressing A to activate the next fight? What's the point of all of that? But then on the other hand, sorry, I'll just finish my point and then I'll let you say your part. On the other hand, we have Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, where they had a conquest mode, and while you couldn't really do much for running around in it, you just, it's like a practice, a tutorial after a tutorial after a tutorial. But if you go through that conquest mode, you select a character and you want to learn that character, the lore that's dropped for every character in between every single tutorial session, it's so interesting. It really immerses you into the game, the story, and the character himself. And I actually find that conquest enjoyable just because it's telling you a story. And then Mortal Kombat Deception come along and just times it by 100 with its adventure mode.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Big time. It's funny you mentioned how tedious it is running from spot to spot. Do you remember that they had to give a patch to increase how fast you ran because it was even slower on launch?
You serious? Wow, I did not even realize that. I only played Invasions once or twice because I couldn't stand it.
I think they tripled the speed. It was so much slower at launch. It was crazy.
Damn.
If you can, when you put this video together, it might be worth it to go look and see someone stream from when it launched running around on the map compared to what you're used to seeing now. It was so much slower.
Okay, yeah, I'll show that on the screen.
The other thing I just sent you, Napper, is you're talking about the way this story, support mode or single player mode for MK1 was set up.
Yeah.
And I know you're a big Dragon Ball fan.
Yeah.
Do you remember or did you play Dragon Ball Budokai 2?
It's funny because I've played every single Dragon Ball game, right? But Budokai 2 is the one I missed.
Well, I just sent you a picture.
I'm looking at it now.
Tell me what that looks like.
It looks like Invasions to me.
Exactly. It looks just like Invasions. And when this came out, it was so reviled and disliked by the players of the game because it was like, this isn't a real like single player mode. This is not a story mode. This is like a lame like board game mode that's super lazy and uninteresting. And this was years ago. And then, you know, AAA creme de la creme fighting game Mortal Kombat 1 comes out with the same exact thing. It's like, guys, what are we doing?
What are we doing? You got so much money, and this is what we're doing.
Exactly. And going back and bringing in a huge game, because that's a huge selling point, I think, as far as if they were to show a new game. Because obviously MK1's dead in the water, no surprise there. And a lot of people are going to be feeling burned from that, especially the more casual players who probably don't feel good about the single player content in the game. Like, we know they don't. We've seen the discourse online, we've seen the complaints. So if you did a new trailer for a new Mortal Kombat game and showed that you have this huge, you know, again, world tour for Street Fighter 6 style, like step into Earthrealm and travel the realms and travel around battling combat against everyone you see, I think that would do a lot for people to go, oh, you know what, maybe the last game was a misstep, but I'll give this one a shot again if this looks as good as it, you know, as what we're gonna get.
Yeah.
I know I would give it another look. I'd go, all right, they're trying now.
Yeah, I would give that a look too. I mean, I've always been a Mortal Kombat fan. Whether I hate a game or I love a game, I still have to check it out.
It's the old thing, like, you know, when you love something or someone, you got to be willing to if they put a good foot forward and they show that they're sorry, you got to be willing to forgive them.
Yeah. It's kind of like your kids or something, or your family members. Like, you don't get to choose them. And you gotta live with them, you gotta forgive them and move on.
Yeah, you don't really choose your fandoms. Either you think it's cool or you don't.
Yeah.
You can't force yourself to like something. If you like something, you like something.
As much as I really want to jump into these concepts you've dropped here, I'll leave that to you to explain, right? So I'll jump on my number 2 on my list. So, if they're gonna call it Mortal Kombat 2 or anything like that, I want to see, how do you say it? You know, where you show nostalgia from the old game. So I want to see that nostalgic stuff in, if they call it Mortal Kombat 2. And I also want to... Yeah, for example, here's an example. There's missed opportunities in Mortal Kombat 1. One of the missed opportunities which really burned my soul. You know the character select theme from the very first Mortal Kombat game?
Oh, yeah.
That is a
Absolutely.
banging tune, that is. I could listen to that, I could, all day. Why did they not take that song and make a remix for the current character select screen? The main menu music is so shit. Every time I enter it, I'm like, oh, man, I can't take it. What am I doing here? The main menu music in MK1 is total garbage. There's no excitement. It's just generic crap, and I hate it so much.
That for me was the MK11 intro sound, where it would start up, like, the general music was okay, but that very opening sound, it's like a whining kind of horn sound. It became nails on the chalkboard to me whenever I turned on the game and got into a menu. I was like, oh, please stop.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny, in Tekken 8, they had a shitty character select screen music, and they changed it with a patch.
Yes. Well, it's funny you mentioned Tekken, because I was going to mention Tekken, Street Fighter, and now Fatal Fury. All three of those games have the huge jukebox mode that has, like, every song they've ever had.
Oh, really? What the fuck are NetherRealm doing, man?
It's crazy, right? Like, in Fatal Fury, you can set your own playlist that will come up, like, on a fight-to-fight basis. You can choose, like, oh, this level has this track, or I want you to play this music after this fight and so on. And it's like every piece of music they've had in Fatal Fury's history and new remixes.
Bloody
Like,
hell.
why can't we get that?
God, that is shocking to hear. Mortal Kombat has such a rich history, and they're not even taking advantage of it.
It's funny because your number 2 for this list is also my number 2 in a way, because I wanted a like museum/lore compilation in the game of all of show me a bunch of art from Mortal Kombat's past, give me a bunch of music from Mortal Kombat's past, incorporate a bunch of stuff from your history.
That's good, yeah. Like a museum mode, kind of like a crypt, right? But you can walk through it maybe, and well, I guess walking around it is not necessary. But looking at the history and having the history there present in the game. What if they do?
Like in
I'm speechless.
the Capcom arcade collections, there's huge art collections inside the game. You can just go through and you look through. They have stuff like the sides of the arcade cabinets and the backgrounds for the sticks for the controls for the arcade machine. They have all of that stuff in the game that you can go look to see the game's past. Stuff that people that didn't grow up in arcades would have missed out on. They have concept art for how attacks were designed. You can really look at the history of where this game came from. And we feel very disconnected from that nowadays with Mortal Kombat.
Yes, absolutely. Look at the bullshit that we got. I made a video somewhere. I'll pop up the screenshots in the edit. But we had all this concept art of like NPCs from Outworld or something, and it's like I don't care about these people. I don't care if there's nothing interesting about them. It's like, I don't want to say they're feminized or something, but there's just no pump to them. There's nothing exciting about them. It's just like ordinary people.
Yeah, the only NPC in Mortal Kombat I can even recall from Mortal Kombat 1 that was like interesting to me was it's in the Tarkatan war camp stage. There's like a shaman, and he's got like antlers on his head. He was cool looking. I'm like, oh, I want to know that guy's story. He looks neat. But like you said, most of the other background characters are the most generic, boring people. They took Shokans and made them look lame and boring.
Yeah, they did. It's like they gave them jobs. Yeah. Say that again.
No one's got any edge in the game.
Yeah. It's like everyone's been given a job to do. Shokans, they have 4 arms, but instead of using them for like fighting in a Mortal Kombat game, they're holding a drum, and in the other 2 hands they have sticks, and they're drumming the drum with their sticks.
Yeah, he's looking like an octopus in the Little Mermaid movie or something.
Man. Yeah.
It's so weird, but I think we've seen that a lot in general in Mortal Kombat 1. I think it started in Mortal Kombat 11, to be fair, where a lot of Kronika's style for stuff, like her outfits for characters and even her look, they don't really feel like Mortal Kombat. They're all like smooth and bright.
Yeah, and I felt like somebody was really into Greek mythology or something, and they decided to introduce Greek mythology into Mortal Kombat, which I don't feel like it fit very well, because Mortal Kombat is a fantasy world, and then all of a sudden this Greek stuff comes in. Like,
it feels it's like the series got infected when Kratos guest starred in Mortal Kombat 9, and it laid dormant for a little while like a virus growing, and then boom, MK11, we're getting Greek stuff in here now. Like, what's going on? Why are there Titans? That's weird.
I didn't make that connection. Wow.
He infected us. It's spreading. It's a plague.
Amazing.
But that's kind of like the go-to kind of hacky, like, guys, I reference like this really obvious mythology. Like, okay, wow, Greek mythology, the same thing everyone learns in like, 7th grade or whatever. Cool, dude.
Yeah, like
Why
that.
can't we...
like that character on the Blood Sea. He's called Karan. I thought, oh, this is an interesting person, but I didn't realize that it's actually Karan from the Greek mythology. There's some guy who he travels over the Sea of Blood and he ferries dead people or something. So I thought,
Yeah, he's Dr. with sticks.
yeah. So when I found that out, I thought, what the hell? There's no originality here. There's no originality.
It immediately makes this so much lamer because you're like, oh man, what's this guy's deal? And it's like, well, if you want to learn his deal, you can literally just read regular Wikipedia because there's nothing different about the character. He looks like what we would think he looks like from mythology, and he does the same job, basically. Oh, wow, how lame.
Pathetic. I really hope that somebody from NRS watches this video and just takes some lessons. Not lessons. I don't want to be, I'm not trying to be, pompous, or what's the word? I'm not trying to look down at NRS. I want NRS to look at our ideas and think, wow, you know what? These are good ideas.
Yeah, this comes from a place of wanting this series to be awesome. Like an example is, like, you mentioned Charon from Greek myth, and he's one-to-one. But Goro and Kintaro are both names from Asian mythology, Japanese mythology, but they're just the names for those characters. They have nothing to do really with them from the myths. It's just, oh, they like this name and it's a classical mythology for a name, so we'll use it. But our character's totally different. And it's like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing that they missed, I think, was because they called the game Mortal Kombat 1, I think in the menu somewhere they should have had a hidden secret. The original Mortal Kombat 1 game that people could just play each other online. I think that should have been a thing.
Which goes right back again to your point about embracing the past as you move forward. Just keep that past alive.
Yeah. The past is the foundation. It's like it permeates everything that's supposed to be in Mortal Kombat. Without that, you get this silly Mortal Kombat 1 project.
Oh, you know what would have been really cool? Yeah, I hate thinking of stuff like this. I'm like, oh, it's missed opportunity. Is when you find out after the story chapter where the Titan Shang Tsung appears, what if the title screen itself changed to be Mortal Kombat 12? Because you're not really starting over. We are continuing from 11.
Yeah.
Like, that could have been really cool. And you could even have, like, the nice, clean Mortal Kombat 1, and maybe the 2 is, like, in a style more fitting the dark tone of Shang Tsung and his dimension. Kind of goes back to when we talked before about having the two different stage styles. You'd have the two different number styles, and it's like, yeah, it's Mortal Kombat 1, but there's also Mortal Kombat 12, and we realize that. Again, honoring their history of 11 previous games.
Yeah. So, just for anybody who doesn't know, Yagami last time explained that there should have been a thing where when you defeat the story mode, when you defeat Shang Tsung, because he has his own version, his own timeline, so there should have been doubles of every stage. The Living Forest, for example, where you have Liu Kang's Living Forest, and then you have Shang Tsung's Living Forest, which would be the original Living Forest from the Midway days.
Yeah, can you imagine, like, having a version of the level that is the normal Queen Sindel's throne room in Outworld, and then we see, oh, in Shang Tsung's timeline, he also has his throne room in Outworld, and it's, like, really dark and like, oppressive and vicious looking, but it's the same layout, so you can tell it's the same level, but it's had, like, that remake to be Shang Tsung's style.
Yeah, exactly. The classic stages was number 3 on my list. I was gonna let you do yours, but since we're talking about stages now, I might as well talk about it. So I want to see classic stages in a future Mortal Kombat game, and I have to bring this up because they had Mortal Kombat released in Fortnite, and you've seen the Fortnite stages, right? The Mortal Kombat ones. How did they get that so good looking? And Mortal Kombat, NetherRealm Studios. Look, I'm not criticizing the artist who made the stages, okay? He's good at his job. He's good at making art. Beautiful. But it's not Mortal Kombat. That's the problem. And then you look over at Fortnite, and they They got it perfect. How?
Yeah, it's like it's the Fortnite / Marvel Rivals effect. Why are these studios and teams doing your stuff better than you do it? And it's because they know what's good. They know what people love about it, because obviously they love it too.
Yeah, it's like they're not officially Mortal Kombat, and they know Mortal Kombat better than these fine people at NetherRealm Studios.
Yeah, they're not trying to reinvent the wheel.
I hope NetherRealm Studios has learned a big lesson about trying to reinvent the wheel. The wheel's invented. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You build on it.
Yeah, you build a car, you build a race car, you build a monster truck. You don't need to go back to formula for the wheel. You guys got it right.
Yeah. So, what's the next thing on your list?
I 100% agree on the classic stage. I think
Oh,
that kind
sorry.
of ties into.
Sorry,
to your,
I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to throw this in there for the stages because it just came to my mind now. Death traps in the stages. Do we want that back?
The Mortal Kombat fan in me kind of wants them back, but like the competitive fan in me sees the issues why they might be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I would suggest like give us a midpoint where we get stage brutalities would be really cool.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So you can only activate the stage death at a finish him screen. That sounds fair.
Yeah. Or even like part of like, if you're in front of like a sword that's like in the background, if you do a throw to kill your opponent, the throw animation uses the sword to kill them instead or something. So it's like it builds off the same brutality system that people seem to really like. And it would be slightly different than fatalities for stages. But we had stage brutalities in MKX. So it's something they've done before, and I think it works really well.
Okay. Yeah, sorry to cut you off. I'll let you speak on your list there.
Yeah, no worries. The thing you had said about stages, I definitely agree on, because again, that, like you said, it ties into the whole idea about like past things coming back. So I'm going to segue to my number 3 by also saying this has to do with dealing with the past to make a better future, because I want Mortal Kombat to fully bring in jump-in replay data for training purposes, where you're looking at the past of a replay to make yourself better in the future so you can learn. See that smooth transition?
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah. Beautiful. It's
like,
amazing.
We have that in games now, in quite a few games, where if you lose to something and you recorded the match, you can go back in and stop the replay of the replay itself and gain control of your character to then try to deal with that situation. Like, that's awesome.
Is that like the ghost mode in Tekken?
Similar, yeah, which is also incorporated in this Wish. I want ghost style stuff like that in Mortal Kombat. You would call it like Souls mode or something.
Oh yeah, good idea. So you go to Shang Tsung's soul chamber to find the souls. Yeah, come on, NRS.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Like, it's so easy to draw from Mortal Kombat's lore to like give that nice little like personalize it from Mortal Kombat.
Exactly. Look, NRS. I'm not looking down on you. I'm nobody to look down at you. I don't do what you do. But look at the difference between what your team makes, who none of them know anything about Mortal Kombat, and then look at us. We're Mortal Kombat fans, and look at these cool ideas we're coming up with. And I'm sure there's going to be comments under this video with so many more ideas. You need to pay attention. You need to pay attention to some of the fans, not all of them, because I ask sometimes the fans their ideas, and some of them are garbage. But some core fans, you need to listen to them.
That might be a great follow-up video or two of like, looking at the comments and seeing like doing a video of like the best suggestions from comments and then maybe the like a couple bad suggestions from comments.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. A good video.
So put them down, people. Flood Napper's channel with comments on this video and tell us what you want to see.
Yeah, tell us what you want to see, and if you have a bad idea, put that forward as well. Don't worry, I'm not gonna rip into you. I'm not gonna like show your name and say this guy's stupid. Look at his stupid idea. I might do that, but just put your ideas down there, and I'll have a look through them and just make a fun video out of it.
Yeah, he won't. Napper's never too mean. It's always from a place of love.
Always from a place of love. Yeah, I attack fictional characters. I don't attack real life people.
Is Dominic Cianciolo fictional? Is that why you go so hard on him?
You know what? He's a human, and he's just in the wrong place. I'm sure he has great skills, but he's just in the wrong place. He should not be writing the story for Mortal Kombat.
That's fair. You know, but I guess he's trying.
I have a video. Sorry, I have a video where I'm punching a picture of him on a punch bag. I might release that. I might not.
That might be taken as a direct threat of violence.
Okay.
You know, as long as you edit it so from like a camera point of view, you can see like hands punching back at you and getting some shots in as like a joke, then that'll make it okay, because then both of you guys will get your licks in on each other. He can be like, oh, you guys are never happy. You fans dislike everything. He can get some punches in.
All right. Yeah, sorry, I cut you off again. What was you saying?
No worries. I was just saying, like, Mortal Kombat is clearly putting an effort in to be competitive and be technically sound as a game, as a fighting game. Much more so than in the 3D era, and way more so than the 2D era. And I give them all the credit in the world for that. I think that's a great thing.
100%. Yeah, that part is good. That part I can agree with. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, and I think we need to be giving tools to our players, especially, whether they be new players or really, old experienced players, stuff like the replay training mode and showing like frame information. They have like a frame meter to show when stuff is safe or not in Street Fighter 6, for instance. I think they have that in Tekken as well, if I remember correctly. It's hard to keep all of the modes straight between all the games I play. But, they're doing a good job with frame information in the Mortal Kombat games now. And I think I think the Mortal Kombat 1 tutorial stuff was a great step in the right direction, where they explain like concepts like attacks being safe and whatnot.
100%.
Yeah, that was awesome. And I give them all the credit in the world for that. I'm never going to take that credit away from them, because that is what we need in the games. Now, just a little bit more stuff that's standard for, like you said, the music jukebox mode is standard now for games. Let's get that in Mortal Kombat. These art galleries of old stuff is becoming standard. Let's get that. These replay trainings and more robust training mode is becoming standard. Come on, Mortal Kombat, let's get all of this in.
Absolutely. Yeah, about the tutorial mode. The tutorial mode in Mortal Kombat is fantastic. I've been through that tutorial mode. It explained everything to me. Even the frame data, it shows you with blue, green and red lights, like what it means when your character is in active frames, in attack frames, and then when he's trying to recover, the recovery frames. It shows you all that stuff. So it's very educational, and I appreciate that side of Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah, the number one barrier to people really enjoying fighting games, I think, is always understanding the basics of how the game is working.
Yeah.
And like you said, them showing that information with like, even color coded like that is a very easy way to understand it. And it's lifting the curtain on something really no one but the competitive community really discussed and understood before.
Yeah, exactly. And it's because of this tutorial mode and watching other people play online, I got interested in trying to practice Mortal Kombat properly and trying to learn it properly and learning my frame data and all that stuff. I even have streams where I'm trying to learn frame data. and all
And you
how
can,
to play.
yeah, and you can really feel and understand your improvement with that kind of stuff. Like you feel like you're progressing and getting better at the game, and it feels really good.
Yeah, and like when you make a mistake, like when you lose a match, you know exactly. Oh, it's because I did this wrong thing. I attacked on block or whatever it's called, and they punished me for it. So,
Yep. Yeah, I tried to attack back when they used the safe move, and I got punished for it. And now I understand why that happened.
yeah, exactly. So this is good. Shall we move on to the next thing?
The one thing I was gonna say is that is the whole training thing with that information. I do see pushback from some older creators or some guys that are around my generation, like guys that would have been a little bit older than me in the arcades, because I grew up in the arcades from when I was very, very little.
Yeah.
I was in arcades because my parents were big arcade gamers, and I see pushback from some streamers and some content creators for Mortal Kombat that they think that kind of information is unnecessary or even bad, and that's one thing I couldn't disagree with more. Getting that information into people's hands helps them understand the game better and helps them play better, and will keep them playing the game and invested in the series.
Yeah, it helps you to become a strategic player, doesn't it? Like, you're not just... Okay, I understand the experience of, okay, you start off, you mash buttons, and then over time you learn your character, and the things that you've learned with your character, you try and perform them and try to win with them, and then you get feedback by getting your ass kicked and trying to, rethink your strategy. The frame data and all that stuff is just a science behind it, so it gives you an extra edge. Like, okay, if I tap number 1 on the controller, that's the fastest moves, 7 frames, 6 frames. That's gonna help me to get my first hit in. So then I can perform my whatever else I want to do after that, a long combo or whatever.
Yeah, it teaches those fundamentals that otherwise there's really no way for them to figure it out except with a lot of game time. And there's too much stuff competing for people's attention. This isn't, something that is going to hold them hostage playing the game if they have a million other games they can go play that they understand more or can enjoy more immediately.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Like, we don't have time to just sit there for hours every single day and try to explore every single position that the character can stand in and every single position that the character can do their moves from, right? The frame data helps you to just pinpoint what you need to do.
Yep. Now, I'll ask Napper, you did 2 in a row. I think my next one is very closely related to, and closely related to something you just spoke about.
Okay.
Would we be able to go into my next one?
Of course.
So you just mentioned new players and what they're able to do. I really, really think Mortal Kombat in their next game, and this is a big wish for me, and it doesn't help me, is a ease of use mode, or if that's what you want to call it, or like a simple mode or a streamlined mode. We see it in things like Dragon Ball FighterZ, where you can just keep pressing one attack button and it will go into a simple combo and even into a super if you have the bar.
Okay.
We see it in Street Fighter 6 where there's an entire different control scheme, just like in Tekken, where if you want to do stuff more in a more simple manner, you can do cool stuff with less complication for the controls. It makes it simpler for everyone to use. And most players aren't going to use that if they've been with the series for a couple games because they understand how the game plays. But for new players that are intimidated by things like button motions and stringing together combos, giving them the ability to just like, imagine if the game told me if I keep hitting high punch and I'm close enough to a person, it'll do a combo, and if I have my X-ray, it'll do a combo into X-ray. I have no problem with that as a more experienced gamer because I can do that anyways, and I can probably do it. I can do a better combo into X-ray to get more damage. But for a new player, it gives them that moment of, whoa, okay, I can see it doing it, and I can do it. But now I'm playing some people that can do even more. I need to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with that at all because In Tekken, for example, you have that. I think it's the left shoulder button. You press it, and it comes up with that little menu where it makes the
Yes.
game easier for you. So, I have pride, right? I'm not gonna press that button and get that thing to pop up and make the game easy for me. So I have no problem with that. And if I see someone using that, to me, I think, okay, this is a new player. I'm gonna kick his ass, even if he's using that thing. And I never knew this thing before, and I have a little story to tell. So I have a 5-year-old kid, and I had them playing Tekken. I was getting them to play the story mode, and they had that mode activated, which I didn't realize what it was. And they were doing these sick, badass combos, and I was thinking, what the
You
hell?
started beating your ass, right?
Yeah, like, how are you doing that? A 5-year-old can play this game. That's amazing.
And that's great, though. It's funny you mentioned that because the very thing I was going to mention is my buddy has a son who's right around that age. He's a little bit older, but he loves Dragon Ball because he's awesome, because awesome people love Dragon Ball, obviously.
Oh, yeah. Obviously.
And they had fighters because he saw the game and he's like, whoa, it looks just like the anime, which it does because the game is gorgeous. And because of the combo system of the mode where you can just press one button repeatedly and it'll kind of auto combo, that started him really loving the game because he could do it would do the super moves for him that he really liked because they all looked like they do in the anime. And because he could do those, he really got into the game. And you know what he did? When he found out he could do other combos and other attacks without having to do that, he started learning how to do it, even though he's like, he was like 6 or 7 at the time. But it sparked his imagination and it held his attention because he could do the cool stuff in the game. It wasn't just giving your little brother the second controller and beating on him because he can't even throw a fireball or throw out an ice ball because it requires emotion or an input. No, they can still do cool stuff, and doing cool stuff feels good, and that's how you get players to like games, especially younger players.
Yeah, that's a good way of retaining players. And then the older players, the ones who know how to play, they'll have too much pride in them to use that mode. So it balances itself out, I think.
Yeah, especially because those modes tend to have much more limited options. And as we know, in almost anything, but especially in fighting games, options are power. So if you have more options, you tend to be, even if the best 4 options were on those buttons, there's probably 1,000 other options in most fighting games that you could go to that will start beating those out because their game plan is very limited.
Yeah.
So you do get the situation where like there's kind of a soft cap on how good you can get in that mode, but it's much higher than it would be if that mode didn't exist. And I think that's a great thing for new players. And Mortal Kombat, as a very casual friendly historically game series, which has always had the biggest casual audience, they need to embrace that and help their new casual players really play.
And I'm sure that's not a problem for them, because if they've invested so much in the tutorial mode, I'm sure this is fine for them to do as well.
Yeah, I think they would be on board with something like that. I again, being as charitable as we can towards NRS, because I know everyone gets a little harsh on developers every now and then. I think they are in the mindset to help players get better at the game and enjoy the game more. So I don't think they left that out just because, like, oh well, we don't need that. It was probably like a time constraint, or it was on the dartboard of things they'd love to have in the game. They might just not have been able to include it, or they didn't realize how important it would be as newer games were coming out that got developed at basically the same time.
Yes. Okay. Should I go into my next point?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So the next one on my list is fatalities are too much and they need to be toned down a little bit. So I think the fatalities currently, they're too cinematic. It's too much animation to watch at the end of the fight, and it's like it gets to the point where you don't even want to do them because you don't want to watch the animation. And it's more preferable to do a brutality instead. What do you say?
I totally agree. And it's funny, we keep having this weird thing where our list like lines up with like a bunch of overlap. Because mine has to do, you said the fatalities are too much, and I totally agree. Not only though because of the length, I think also like what's the word I'm looking for? How like just like realistic and gory they are is kind of like, it's reached the point where it's like, this isn't even like neat or funny or interesting. It's just like, this is just gore.
It's just psychotic.
Yeah, it's like, it's weird.
Like that one, for example, where the Thanksgiving one, right? And I'm guessing that because they were selling that fatality, right? So because we had to pay for it, they probably felt like, okay, we need to make this fatality worth the money that they're paying for it. And then they just went over the top with it. The guy's stuffing the other guy's face with food and then ramming it down his throat. Pause. And then he's jumping on his stomach to make the food pop out. Like, it's too much to watch. Okay, it's disgusting. I guess they want it to be disgusting. I don't know. I thought fatalities was supposed to be about killing the opponent.
It's okay. So remember everything I said about being nice to developers a couple minutes ago?
Yeah.
All right. Let me change my fighting stance right now and not be so nice with developers.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? We paid money for this stuff, so we have a right to be a bit critical. So go ahead.
I'm taking a different track of criticism with that. I don't think they went out of their way to make it like that because we were paying for it. I'm sorry. I think this is someone's fetish. That fatality was really weird and creepy and gross. And it's like, oh, this really seems like fetish fuel for someone, and I am not cool with that. This is too weird.
You know, I don't think you're wrong about that. I think there are some weirdos back there into some weird stuff, and it shows in different parts of MK.
And like, look, I know Street Fighter has Jury where she's smashing her feet into people and putting them on the screen and stuff. And we know Capcom's doing it on purpose. But there is a world of difference between a foot and whatever that fatality was.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was one of the uncomfortable ones. Is it their goal to make us uncomfortable? Is that what they're trying to do? Are they trying to...
Yeah, I think they're still trading on shock value like back in the day, but like it's not as effective.
I mean, what are they going to do next? Like throw children at you? Exploding children.
Like, where do we go from here? Like we've seen people dismembered in every way possible now.
Literally.
What are we doing next?
Yeah.
Quan Chi's baby beatdown. He just wields baby nunchucks that are made from babies and beats you to death with them.
Or like, I don't know, they strip your clothes off and start bumming you from the back.
Like, I'm just glad when we got that fatality, whoever designed it or came up with it, I'm glad they didn't have access to Bo Raicho in MK1. Because I don't want to see what they're going to do with puke and farting in a fatality in MK1. Please no.
Please God, no, please no.
Filter that out of my search history. Thank you. I never want to see it.
Let's not give them ideas. I should probably cut that out.
Erase this all. Get rid of it. We can't risk it.
Yeah. Yeah, so...
Yeah, I 100% agree. Brutalities are better because they're fast.
Yeah, brutalities are the way to go. If you want to make the brutalities a little bit more cinematic, go ahead. But the fatalities, they're just too long. They're over convoluted. I don't want to watch them. I want to just kill the opponent in a badass way. And the brutality at the end, it feels enough of a... You know, say, because you play the fighting games, right? And sometimes you have somebody who's mashing you, right? They're doing down one poke and they keep doing it. And you get angry, right? And you think, I'm going to kick this guy's ass. When you perform the brutality at the end, it's satisfying. It feels like, yeah, take that.
That's the release. That's the release of all the tension. It's like after a guy gets one win on you and he starts teabagging. It's like, bro, I am giving you the hardest to do and set up brutality in the game next fight. I'm gonna embarrass you.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times it was such a satisfying experience where I was pissed off with a guy because he's doing something stupid, playing in a stupid way. So I finish him off with a long ass combo with Sub-Zero, and right at the end, get him on the floor and stab him in the face with a spear. That feels so good, that does.
You know what that reminds me of? Like, did you ever meet like your friend by not liking them at first, and then eventually gets to the point where you get into a fight, but then afterwards you're really good friends? That's what that feels like with the brutality in Mortal Kombat. Like, oh man, you really pissed me off, and then you kill them with the brutality. It's like, all right, we're cool now. All right, never mind, it's all good.
That's a coincidence. That is. I was talking about that this morning. I was trying to teach the kids about bullying. So I was telling them that when I was younger, and I would get into fights with people because they tried to bully me, and we'd get into a fight. And then after the fight, we'd become friends. They're still my friends to this day.
Yeah, that happens a lot. I mean, that's a real thing. It would happen in the arcades. You'd get really heated at someone, and then you'd have a really good set with them. And whoever won, you'd be like, "All right, man, your Ryu is really good, or your Hwoarang is awesome, or your Sub-Zero is great. All right, we're cool. We need to play again." Even though in the moment 5 minutes ago, if you had a knife, you would have stabbed this guy.
Exactly. All right. So, anything else on your list?
I do, and it actually ties in nicely to your point about fatalities. In again, a slightly different direction, but same outcome. I think, like I said, part of the problem is that kind of fidelity, that realism of the art style, where they're clearly trying to make the game look as realistic as possible. And my wish list for the next game would be, stop that. Give the game a visual style.
Yes, like what we're seeing right here in front of us on the screen here, these concept art. Do you want to talk us through these concept art?
Sure. Yeah. Which one do we want to bring up first, and we can discuss it? I can discuss art stuff all day. I love it.
Okay, so let's start with this stage here, the one on the top left.
Yeah, this one, obviously, like, this one is not a fantastic, like, work of art or anything. But what I really wanted to communicate with this is kind of the dark, evocative feel of Mortal Kombat needs to come back. And I would point to, like, I thought MK9's Pit stage really kind of nailed that feeling. That's an MK-ass stage in MK9. That feels like MK.
Absolutely.
You have, like, the big moon that's way bigger than any moon you've ever seen in your life, and you got, like, a volcano. You got guys on two bridges trying to murder each other with kung fu, and everything's dark and spiky. That's Mortal Kombat.
Man, I love this concept art, and I want to use it as my wallpaper. It's so good because it conveys the darkness. It conveys that dark, gritty kung fu on top of a bridge where someone's gonna fall from this bridge and get hurt. Like, it's so good.
The feeling that Mortal Kombat, especially with, like, stages like that, always kind of hit me with is, like, one day you might be out somewhere, like maybe you're in a forest or even in a neighborhood in a city, and you take a turn you never took before, and all of a sudden you're watching two guys fight each other in this really dangerous area, and you're like, what is going on? This is crazy. Mortal Kombat always had that feel to me.
Yeah.
And, like, I want them to capture that kind of feeling of, like, otherworldly mysticism. Like, oh man, something really crazy's happening right now. How cool.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to get to that part in my list where we're going to talk about Outworld and what it looks like.
Yes, awesome.
Okay,
so... All right, what do we got next? Sure.
Next we have Liu Kang, the Liu Kang picture.
I actually... Yeah, you said you like this one a lot, right?
Man, what a sick picture. That guy is Liu Kang. Okay, he might look a bit weird in the face, he might not look Chinese exactly, but... Whoa, I love it. This is Liu Kang.
Yeah, you can feel the energy of this badass Shaolin warrior. And I made this actually to be indicative of what I would feel like a conquest mode would be like now. You'd be in a fully 3D place, and then you would get, you might get attacked by some guys in this crazy dark temple, and then you go into the 2D mode and fight them, again, just like happens in Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
Like, that to me would be such a cool mode and really capture that feeling of Mortal Kombat, of being in a dangerous place with people that want to hurt you. They might hurt you with their fists or weird weapons or crazy magic powers, but you're this badass named Liu Kang and you're going to beat them up. Like, that's super cool.
Awesome. I bet everyone who's watching this video is really going to appreciate this.
It's like that gritty feeling. Things feel a little dirty and grimy in Mortal Kombat, right?
Yeah, exactly. Gritty, dirty, grimy. MKX had a sort of dark look to it, which I liked. There was things about MKX which I didn't like, which ruined it for me. But the darkness and the grittiness, especially of that stage, what's it called? Raiden's Sky Temple, that's my favorite stage in MKX.
Yes, very good stage. The only complaint I have about Mortal Kombat X visually is I wish some of the colors, not the lighting, but some of the colors were more vibrant, because Mortal Kombat usually has very vibrant colors. That's the only complaint I have about it. Things looked a little too muddy.
I see. Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, the tone of the game was very good.
And look how powerful Liu Kang looks here. Like, you look at this guy and think, this guy must be the champion of Mortal Kombat right here.
Yeah, this guy can throw down.
And you look at Raiden from MK1 and you think, who's this guy? Where'd he come from?
Oh, this guy's gonna go fight an ogre man with a skull helmet and win for all of Earth. Can we send someone else?
Yeah. Who picked this guy?
Do we get a vote? Did I miss a vote on this?
Are you serious? This guy? And then you look at Liu Kang here and think, you know what, man? You're our best hope. And I think you're gonna do it.
Look, I am gonna call up the WWE and we will get one of their guys, because I am worried for this gentle-looking Chinese fellow.
Go back and tend to your sheep, man. You're not made for this.
Look, you had to get jewelry to throw lightning, buddy. Come on, stop. Can we get like someone built like 80s Arnold Schwarzenegger and give him the lightning jewelry? I think we'll do better. Can we get Dwayne The Rock Johnson and give him the lightning jewelry?
Yeah, exactly. Even the next concept art, which I'm about to pop up, looks tougher than MK1 Raiden, and that's your concept art of Kira.
Okay, so this one, I got a request. I do some of these things just generations for some people, like on Discord and stuff. They might ask for, a concept art for something they're working on for characters. Whether that be like some people like they do their fan fiction stories or they do minis and whatnot, all sorts of stuff. It's the Mortal Kombat community. They're creative.
Yeah.
And this was one I came up with for Kira pretty quickly. But I thought this was a good one to include where, like, obviously this is, she's a good-looking girl, but she looks badass, which I think is what really Mortal Kombat needs to strike that middle ground with. You don't need to be, like, cheesecake. Like, I think we all agree some of the costumes in Mortal Kombat 9 are just bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't look practical. They look kind of lame. They're too much.
They look like they were made by perverts to be real.
Yeah, 100% agree. And it's funny because a lot of times, like, people that are critical of modern Mortal Kombat get lumped in with, like, oh, you just want, like, the women to look like strippers and stuff. Like, no. Like, this Kira doesn't look like a stripper. She looks like a badass, like a biker chick that will mess you up.
Yeah, exactly. She looks like she's just wearing what she wants. Like, how do you say it? She just has a style, and she's out there, and she's gonna kick your ass. And she's not having to show her body parts to do that. Like,
yeah, it's like this is just what she wears.
MK9 took it to the extreme in one direction by being perverted with the character designs, and then MK11 went extreme in the other direction by covering everybody up to the point where it looks obnoxious to me. Like Jade, for example. Just make her look like MK2 Jade or something. She doesn't have to
Yeah,
look like MK Deception Jade or the perverted MK9 Jade. She doesn't have to look like that. But look at Kira here. This is right. This is good.
Yeah, and too often people think like if you say, "Oh, I don't like what MK11 Jade looks like. She looks terrible." They assume you want like MK9 Jade, and it's like, guys, there's a happy medium here.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want MK9 Jade. I want to play with the character and just play a game. I don't want to be staring at the character and then half the time I'm just loading up the game just because I want to look at the character. No, I'm a grown man.
Yeah, you want to look at a character, not goon material.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it's important to get that across in character designs, like, because whether a lot of what goes into me picking a character is, oh, does that character look cool? Does that guy look badass? Does that chick look badass?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Looking like you're just like, like you said, made by a pervert. It's like, oh, that's not really that, I don't really want to play this character. It's almost embarrassing to play this character. They look a little weird.
Yeah, that is absolutely right. If you look at this Kira here, you look at her and think she's from the Black Dragon. She looks like a Black Dragon member. She looks like a tough girl. And no pushover.
She looks like someone you wouldn't mess with.
Yeah, she ain't no pushover here.
It's like I was going for, if you were with your wife and this girl stepped to your wife, you'd be like, oh man, oh.
Yeah, I wouldn't let the wife fight her. I'd have to step in and be like, okay, let me handle this. I'd be like, yeah, we don't have to fight.
I don't know, if she's got that blade, I might be like, honey, step back, let me talk to her. Like, look, we don't need to do this. Everything's cool, lady. Just don't worry about it.
Yeah, put your blade away, and
we don't want no trouble.
Yeah.
You're clearly very serious about what you do. We don't want any trouble.
Oh, by the way, I want to point this out too. She looks like a girl.
Yeah. She looks like a girl. She looks like her face is feminine. She looks pretty. That's
exactly it. Her face is feminine. She looks feminine, and she looks great. She's not overly, what's the word? Not trying to seduce you, and she looks cool. A great character.
I think her body type is very realistic. Like, she looks fit. She looks like she's strong. She's not, she's not sporting triple Ds.
Yeah. There's no need for jiggle physics on this character model.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe only on parts she cuts off you.
Yeah.
Have a little bit of jiggle.
Yeah, if she chops your ass off, that should be jiggling off you. All right.
See, now you're exciting whoever programmed the Thanksgiving fatality.
Ah, shit. Gotta cut this part out too. Damn. Okay, so moving on to Smoke here, which is just awesome.
This might be my favorite one. Smoke is about my favorite ninja. Actually, it's not even about my favorite ninja. Smoke is my favorite ninja. I've always thought he was super cool. Going all the way back to the old school, the Saturday Morning Defenders of the Realm cartoon with Smoke. I was super hyped when he was in there because I love Smoke.
Oh, man, I love this concept art, man. It's so good. And compare it to the MK1 Smoke, who looks like a gay man with a gay haircut.
He looks awful.
He looks
and
so...
It's funny. Yeah, good.
No, it's okay. I'm just like overwhelmed with this picture I'm looking at. It looks so damn cool. Like, how can you not do this? Why is AI better at designing a character than an NRS developer?
See, and the thing is, I was going for this is because, we were just talking about girls and what they look like and, having a range of appearances. I would want the same thing for the guys in the game. Like, Liu Kang shouldn't be built like Kano, and Kano shouldn't be built like Jax. And, for my money, if you're going to have a bunch of different ninjas, you want them to look different, which, Mortal Kombat has been good historically about making the ninjas look different after they were no longer sprite edits.
Mm-hmm.
So, palette swaps, not even sprite edits. They were just straight up palette swaps, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But, so for Smoke, I was going like, well, if Mortal Kombat's going to have a pretty boy, make it Smoke. you know, like make a character that I think would appeal to like, oh, he looks cool for guys, but oh, girls might like this guy too because he's kind of a pretty boy.
Yeah,
He's got the long hair.
whose idea was it to take a reptile and make him the pretty boy?
Yeah, it's weird, right? You know what? I bet I know who it was. I bet they were pandering to Sonic. What's his name? It's Sonic Ha. He makes good videos, but we know he loves that pretty reptile. They were trying to play to Sonic Ha. I'm telling you, it's
serious?
a conspiracy.
Man, are they gonna pander to me one day?
Hopefully,
I
I
want-
don't think they can put Goku in the game.
well, I don't need Goku in the game, but I want some masculine brute. He's always lifting weights, and he comes into the match with weights in his hands, and he's battering you with the weights. And he's like, lift, boy, lift.
It's the king of Gains. He's from Gains realm, where everyone lifts all the time.
Yeah.
Now it's funny you mentioned that though, that you'd like a kind of like really strong guy like that, because like obviously like this Smoke is fit, you know, he's got arms on him, but
Yeah.
his build is much more slender as compared to what we would normally see from a lot of characters. So he has that different like, you know, a Smoke like qualities where like kind of light and fast. You know, you have his hair is long and flowing and goes into the smoke that's coming off his body.
Yeah, he looks perfect. Like, if you stick gigantic muscles on him, it wouldn't make sense. He looks great as he is. This is his character. It's like Leon and Chris from Resident Evil, where you have... I really like Leon. He's amazing. The things he does is amazing. And then there's Chris with the big muscles. And I love them both as equally as each other. But they're different. One of them's a bit thinner, and he can do amazing backflips over laser rooms, and the other one punches boulders.
Yeah, and as we know, the ladies like Leon because Leon's a pretty boy,
Yeah.
and there's nothing wrong with that. And you know, if you're playing fighting games with sweaty guys punching each other, you need to be comfortable enough to go, "Oh yeah, a pretty boy in the game's just fine, no problem. Who cares?"
Yeah. And
That variety.
And by looking at this concept art as well, you could tell what his moves are going to be like. I think the gameplay of Smoke in MK1 is pretty good for being Smoke. Like, it looks like what Smoke should be. So if he just had this design, it would be perfect, I think.
Yeah, I think they did a good job with his gameplay, but dropped the ball on his design. Why give him short hair like that? If you're gonna have a character with long hair, it should be Smoke.
Yeah, long, flowing, smoky hair. Like, how could you get that wrong?
It's so weird. It's such a weird design choice. I don't know why.
And have you seen that that skin that they released where they gave him long hair? What did you think of that?
I thought he looked a lot better. It's like the classic like MK9 throwback outfit, right?
Yeah, he looks a bit different from the MK9 one, but to be honest, the one in MK1, it just looks like he has long hair and he's combed it backwards. Whereas in MK9, it looks smoky, I guess.
It looks weird though in MK9. Like the art of him in that costume was good, but I think the in-game character model looked kind of bad, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I was a Smoke player in MK9 and I always used his fully covered outfit because I thought the hair looked way too weird.
Okay. Yeah.
Even though I like the long hair, but I think actually, I think he is one of the good-looking kind of throwback skins in the game. Is that retro Smoke outfit with the longer hair because he just looks better.
And if you look at the eyes of this Smoke concept art here, he looks like he has so much charisma. It's just a picture, and the picture has so much charisma about it.
Yeah, he's got that kind of like intensity about him. He's a very focused look, which I really liked about him, and kind of like the it kind of gave him like bags under his eyes, where, and I don't know why that works so well. Maybe because he's like the white hair and the pale complexion, having the dark rings under the eyes makes him look kind of like spooky.
Yeah, and then on the other hand, in MK1, you have Thomas saying, "But we should follow Lin Kuei principles. That's what we should do, Bihan. You need to follow the Lin Kuei principles."
I hate you, Tomas. Shut up.
Shut up, Tomas. You were adopted, Tomas. If it wasn't for father, I would have thrown you out in the street.
Smoke goes and cries and runs to his room.
That looks like exactly what he would do in MK1. He looks like a crier type of person. Someone who cries himself to sleep when someone does something mean to him.
Speaking of Sub-Zero, you have the Sub-Zero too, right?
Yeah. Let's move on to the next one then. Sub-Zero. Whoa.
So this is another one I really like for a couple reasons. I got the quilted kind of pattern classic Sub-Zero had in the classic MK games, especially like MK2.
Yeah.
I love that quilted pattern, especially for Bihan specifically because it feels classic, even though it was Kuai Liang that wore it in MK2. I know before comments, I know someone already started writing a comment as soon as I said that. I know it's Kuai Liang in MK2 with the quilted. I get it. But it reminds you of the older games, which in your brain makes you think older Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
And it might be weird, but part of my inspiration was Iceman from Mega Man, where he wears like the parka, like the Eskimo parka with like the hood.
Okay.
So I'm like, Sub-Zero should wear a hood. At least Bihan should, because it calls back to wearing a hood in winter, so it looks cold. But
yeah.
he can keep it when he becomes Noob Saibot, and then it looks like a Grim Reaper hood.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. That does. And I like the thing about the cold and the hood, because I live in England and it gets very cold here, and it's normal to put a hood on. So if there was a game with Sub-Zero with a hood on and it's about cold, every time I go outside in the winter and I put a hood on, I'm gonna feel like Sub-Zero, and that's gonna be good.
I even heard. I mean, some people take that pretty far. I heard there's a guy that even works out as Sub-Zero.
Oh yeah, who's that?
I don't know. I've only heard of it. I've only heard of it secondhand. I'm not sure. There definitely isn't maybe a link being put on this video right now about it. I have no idea.
Oh yeah, we need to find that guy.
But yeah, like you would feel it, which I think good character design should make you immediately feel stuff. Like you would look at this guy who's blue and wearing a hood, and immediately like there's a level of cold in how he looks, which I always think is important with characters to kind of like convey what they are all about right in their design.
Yeah,
and I think we've lost some of that.
That's so well put. When you look at a character, it should make you feel. That's the key. And every time I look at a character in Mortal Kombat 1, I just feel disgusted, or I feel confused, or I feel pissed off. Like, why is Smoke? Why does he have short hair? Why is Sub-Zero yellow? Why does he have fire powers? Who else is there? Why does Liu Kang have those tiny dot-like eyebrows above his eyes, and he's always looking worried? He always makes that worried face, like something bad's gonna happen. Why does...
I want to know why Liu Kang is wearing a shirt. Get that shirt off him.
And he hasn't even...
Liu Kang doesn't wear shirts.
Yeah, he hasn't even buttoned it up right. Like one side of his shirt hangs lower than the other. It's like you buttoned it up misaligned.
It's like he's wearing a t-shirt under a suit jacket. Dude, be casual or be business. This business casual thing you're doing is not working. Choose one.
Yeah, and his alternate costume as well. I don't think that looks good either. I don't feel the Liu Kang feeling from him. And maybe it's just me.
I think part of that also is I don't like his build. I think he's way too brawny because he's like got the same body as everyone else, where it's like, you know, obviously he's supposed to like, you know, be like Bruce Lee style. Bruce Lee wasn't a huge dude. We don't need, you know, him to be a mountain of muscle. He can be nice and lean.
Yeah.
And that'll get into and once we get through these, we can talk a little bit more about art style in general, because it gets into that and some of the problems I think MK is running into that I would wish list away.
Okay. Shall I move on to Sonya?
Yeah, I think this is probably the last one, right? Last one we got.
Last one. Wow, what a great piece of artwork. It looks like a nice lady who's doing some sort of action. I don't know about military, but it looks like she's into some sort of action.
Yeah, I kind of wanted it to strike a balance between like the classic Sonya that was kind of like a basically like workout clothes.
Oh yeah, that's what it looks like. Yeah, fitness lady.
Yeah, fitness lady and military. So you can see she's got like the harness and stuff on, and she looks like she's got reinforced gloves on. So you could see this as maybe like a Sonya that's like parachuted into a situation. She had to travel light, kind of like like in Metal Gear when you have to go in with minimal gear on you. And and this is again a Sonya where she's showing a little skin, but it's a tank top. That's not ridiculous. It's again not like MK9 Sonya, who I think looks terrible.
Yeah, this is a normal display of a woman's form. Like it's not obnoxious, it's not perverted, it's just normal.
Yeah, exactly. This is like you would walk down the street, and if you saw a woman wearing this outfit, you might look twice if she's pretty, but you wouldn't be looking twice because, oh my god, I can't believe she's wearing that. You would never say that.
Yeah, you'd probably be asking like, "Oh, do you work out or something? Do you go to the gym?"
Yeah, which is exactly what you should feel about Sonya, right? She should be a chick where it's like, oh man, this chick is seriously into fitness. She's tough.
Yeah, she has a serious look on her face too.
And the only thing I dial back with what we've been getting from Sonya in recent games, like MKX and MK11, is it's too much military gear, and she loses her design aesthetic. She just becomes random chick in random military outfit.
Yeah, that's what the feeling I get as well with Sonya. Like, you have Sonya in Mortal Kombat, for example. Okay, I'm not gonna talk about the way she's shaped because that's like it's really exaggerated, right? But
yeah,
she's with Jax and they have a military thing going on, and it works. But that kind of she loses that spirit in MKX and MK11. She's just a military chief lady, a sergeant, like what something normal, not something inspired by Mortal Kombat.
I would use the word mundane. She looks mundane.
Fantastic. Great word.
And it's funny you mentioned Mortal Kombat 4, because I think Mortal Kombat 4 Sonya is pretty good for design for the most part. And this art obviously is uses a lot of the inspiration, because I when I was making it, I was using a lot of the inspiration of Mortal Kombat 4. But with the little additions of the stuffs like the gear harness, over the shoulders and on her legs, just adds it gives that, oh, this is a military girl that's in the military, not just a girl in a tank top that is wearing military green.
Yeah. I guess she could use some kind of gauntlet on her arm where she can shoot that pink thing that she does.
Yeah, that would be cool. Definitely, like some kind of gear.
Yeah, some kind of technology.
Because I think Mortal Kombat 3, Mortal Kombat 4 is around the sweet spot for Sonya Blade.
Yeah.
For a look for her.
Yeah, I forgot about Mortal Kombat 3 Sonya as well. That was a good one.
Yeah, where it's just she is clearly in the military, but also clearly a unique character. She's not just some background character that is military girl.
Yeah, I think this concept art is a good development of MK3 and MK4 Sonya, and MK1 as well. The original MK1.
And like keeping in mind, like if you look at someone like Sub-Zero in the more recent games and Sub-Zero in the classic games, they're very clearly still taking a lot from each other. There's it's Blue Ninja.
Yeah.
But if you were to look at like MK11 Sonya and MK3 or 4 Sonya, there's not a lot of DNA of MK3 and 4 Sonya left in MK11 Sonya.
No, you're right. And I don't know if they were trying to pass that off to Cassie Cage or something. What do you think?
Oh, that's actually a good point. That's very possible. Though I think Cassie Cage looks terrible in MK11. some of her costumes are okay, but like her regular look is just so boring.
Yeah, Cassie Cage doesn't give me the Sonya feeling. It just gives me a feeling of, okay, it's a girl with guns and we gotta make her really tough. But it doesn't feel like Sonya.
Yeah, it's not strong enough. Like, she doesn't have a color associated with her. Like, you look at Kira, red. You look at Sonya, green. You look at Sub-Zero, blue. Like, these are characters. But you look at Ryu and Ken in Street Fighter, white and red. You have a very strong relationship to colors with these characters.
Yeah. Okay. So, that was really great. I like the concept art, and I'm glad you shared them with me. I still have a long list to go through here. What about you?
I still have a few more things for sure. We with this we banged out one of my other ones with the classic style. But I let's what do you get next? I only have a couple more on mine, and one is very, very minor, but you know, that minor one might spring a big discussion. I don't know. Sometimes when we're chatting, like one thing turns into a big thing because we're both pretty passionate about this stuff. But what do we got up next on the list for Santa?
Okay, so some of the things on this list here, we might have talked about it already, so I can probably cross them off. So I have next on my list, 1 or no guest characters per season. So I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of these guest character things. Like, you look at the Mortal Kombat 1 Definitive Edition trailer, and it feels like they haven't learned their lesson. There's a fifth of the trailer is dedicated to guest characters, trying to sell the game by guest characters. And yeah, there's people out there that say, oh yeah, Mortal Kombat, yeah, if they have guest characters, then people buy it. And it's actually, if that's true, then it's actually a shame. Mortal Kombat should be selling because of Mortal Kombat characters, not because of guest characters. Guest characters should be a side thing. And they just got too many in MK1. What do you say?
I agree 100%, and I have never heard of a single person buying a Mortal Kombat game after the fact because a guest character was added. In my personal life with my friends that play games, video games and fighting games, and some of them don't play any fighting games other than Mortal Kombat, they have never told me like, oh, Predator's in this game, so I gotta get Mortal Kombat now. That doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't. Like, why would you buy a game just because of one character? It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it would be really weird. The only thing I would maybe tweak about that wish list item, because I would say the same thing, 100% in agreement. I would love to slightly modify that and say, please give us at least 1 or 2 fighting game characters that could be in the game as guests. Like, and I know I'm gonna put it right out there immediately. We're not getting a Street Fighter character in Mortal Kombat. They're not gonna have Ryu murdering people and getting murdered in a game. It's not going to happen. But we could get a Killer Instinct character. They do murder each other. So we could get a character like that, which would be really cool. Or we could get maybe a Samurai Showdown character, because that game, people die in that game.
Yeah,
if we got something like that, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I don't think we have a samurai character in Mortal Kombat, do we? Or do we?
Kenshi is like blind swordsman, but that's not really a samurai. I wouldn't qualify him as a samurai. So if they gave us someone from Sam Show, I would be 100% on board with saying like, oh, that he fills his own niche. And of course, he'd have his own moves. He'd be very different.
Yeah. But instead, we're having people like Homelander and what's that other one, that John Cena one?
Omni-Man. Oh, yeah, Peacemaker.
And Omni-Man. I like Omni-Man. And I like... See, I like these characters in their own worlds. But when they come into Mortal Kombat, it's like, you don't belong here.
It's like Homelander and Omni-Man were standing in line for Injustice 3 as guest characters, and then someone came out and put up a sign that said closed, and they just hung around until Mortal Kombat 12 showed up. And they're like, hey guys, we're here, we're not leaving, we're gonna stick around. And they're like, alright, come on in.
Yeah, and I don't really care about tournaments and stuff. I don't even play that high level to be looking into tournaments. I don't even know half their names. But I kind of have a funny feeling inside when I see in news that, oh, the top players in the tournaments, they're playing with Homelander, they're playing with Peacemaker, they're winning the tournament with Peacemaker, they're winning the tournament with Homelander. Like, where's the Mortal Kombat characters? They should be at the top.
100%. What, you don't like the Mortal Kombat Championship being between Joker and classic Mortal Kombat character Spawn? Like, it's so weird. It's like seeing your girl with a different guy. It's like, what's going on here? Or like seeing a picture of your parents, but like one of your parent is with a different like a different boyfriend or girlfriend or wife or husband. Like,
what a good analogy. That is a good analogy. You're watching your game, but it's like there's Peacemaker, Peacelander fans out here, and they're all gathering around this, and they're watching a Mortal Kombat game where there's no Mortal Kombat people involved, and you're standing on the side like, where's Mortal Kombat?
Like, imagine walking into a Wendy's and they're like, well, here's your Big Mac. Like, bro, I'm at a Wendy's.
Or imagine you go into, what's it called, McDonald's, and you get a Happy Meal, and the toy inside, it's a Mortal Kombat character, Peacemaker.
Oh my god, that'd be super weird. Here's your Mortal Kombat Happy Meal featuring Predator. What?
Yeah, this guest character thing. Look, I'm not trying to shut down the whole guest character thing, right? But they just way overdid it. And I think it needs to be one guest character per game, or maybe one guest character per season at most.
Yeah, I would agree, especially if they're just like random Warner Brothers property where it's like clearly they're trying to advertise something or like whatever. Because like Street Fighter has guest characters now with Terry Bogard and Mai from Fatal Fury, and it's like, oh, wouldn't it be weird if Terry and Mai were like in the championships? Like, well, it'd be a little weird, but also they're awesome characters that are also like share history with these characters because of past crossover games and stuff. So it's more understandable. Whereas like, guys, we got Ghostface from Scream in Mortal Kombat. Okay.
And look, here's something to note as well. Have you noticed how the guest characters are made perfectly one-to-one with their original creation, while Mortal Kombat characters are messed around with and not made how they should be? For example, Smoke with his short hair.
Just like when Mortal Kombat characters guest star in games like Fortnite, same thing. They use the classic awesome look. They don't mess with it.
How why does that happen?
It's like NRS knows people want the classic thing that they love, but just won't give it to us with Mortal Kombat.
Unless you pay for it. Have you seen
Unless you pay for it.
Yeah, have you seen that Sub-Zero skin, the one from MK3 where he doesn't wear a mask? But it's in MK1. Yeah.
That is painful to look at.
It's very painful to look at. And look, it's there, it's noticeable, so that's why I'm pointing it out. Okay, don't say to me, why are you looking down there? I'm looking down there because it sticks out. He has a massive bulge between his legs popping out of his spandex. And it's like, what? Who put the time in to model this?
I'm just picturing you like zooming in on it in the video right now to force everyone to look at it.
I probably will. Like, somebody took the time out to model this. They made a decision that, okay, we want to put a bulge right here in the costume. Who knows if behind the skin it's actually fully modeled?
Well, I mean, Johnny Cage needs to punch something, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
They had to make sure Sub-Zero had his snow cone and his snowballs.
Oh yeah, they had to make it one-to-one accurate representation of real life bodies, right? In a game with with Shokan, Motaro's, which you don't even get to see Motaro modeled in the story fighting with Raiden.
Yeah, we can get 1-to-1 for that stuff, but we can't get 1-to-1 on things like Tanya's beautiful face model. That she can't look exactly like her face model in the game. They have to mess that up, but we get 1-to-1 on other stuff.
Exactly. That's a great example right there. So yeah, that's my thing on the guest characters. If you want to say any more, or you want to move on to the next thing.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the like the bodies for people. And and 1-to-1 creation of it. That is actually on my list for something I want to go away. I mentioned it earlier with the ultra realism for the fatalities.
Mm-hmm.
Get away from ultra realism. I would love the art style to be way more like, go radically different. Even make the game look like the animated movies that Mortal Kombat has been releasing. Like
100%. Perfect.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm going to insert here? I'm going to insert the clip where Ed Boon says, "Nobody pays for reality." Remember that clip?
And an intricate combo system.
Reality's boring. Nobody wants to pay for reality. We take everything beyond reality to the point where it's the only way to do this is through our video.
Yes.
Yeah,
100%.
He says nobody pays for reality. Like, nobody wants to come home from a long day of work and go back to reality, right?
No, yeah, why would you want to do that? I want to see, like, I want to feel the creative passion of what you're presenting. I don't want to see generic Unreal assets, which is what a lot of Mortal Kombat feels like now. It feels like just generic Unreal graphics.
Mm-hmm.
Like, compare, like, if you look at Guilty Gear or Dragon Ball Fighters, and I'm not saying it needs to be exactly like that, because I could also say if you look at Tekken, same thing. Or if you look at Street Fighter 6, or you look at Fatal Fury, and you look at Mortal Kombat, what looks like they had more interest in making something visually nice looking. It's not Mortal Kombat.
And that's a shame, that is.
Yeah, big time. Like, Mortal Kombat used to be about these, like, over-the-top characters, especially when you get into the 3D era, where they clearly weren't going for ultra-realism. They were going for, like, bombastic designs of characters, and proportions weren't human. They were exaggerated to emphasize, certain qualities. Bigger fists and bigger hands for impact on attacks, bigger feet.
Yeah.
Like, all of that looks really good.
Look at Jax, for example, with his metal arms. In Deadly Alliance, they look like robotic arms, right? And then, okay, in MK2, he had realistic-looking arms that just were grey. Because the actual actor for him, he had body paint on, right?
No, Napper, you're doing it again. We're getting the comments already. They're flooding the comments. It was Mortal Kombat 3, not 2.
Ah, shit. I'm gonna cut that out.
I do that all the time. I talk about Jax's metal arms in Mortal Kombat 2, and I'm like, oh wait, no, he had regular arms in Mortal Kombat 2.
Oh yeah, okay, I must not be a Mortal Kombat fan then. Clearly I don't know what I'm talking about.
Everyone is flooding your comments calling you a fake fan now. Napper, Fate is going to make a 2-hour video about Napper exposed.
I'm exposed. I'm a fake fan. I'm exposed. My colors are exposed.
You've revealed your soft underbelly, and the knives are sharp.
Well,
but yeah, I want Mortal Kombat to have its own art style, and I think the art style they've been using in stuff like Snowblind, for instance, the Snowblind movie, which, Napper, if you haven't seen it, I demand a Snowblind review video. That is the best thing we've gotten from Mortal Kombat since the 3D era.
Yeah, man.
Snowblind is awesome.
I've watched a clip where Smoke and Sub-Zero were trying to escape from the Linkway. That was a sick scene, that was. And I also really liked the Scorpion's Revenge movie. This is Mortal Kombat. Somebody today is getting Mortal Kombat right. Why cannot the NRS studio, where it has Ed Boon in it, where it has John Vogel, why can't they get it right? I just baffling. How can you have these spin-offs and these offshoots, this Mortal Kombat animation show, it gets it right, and then the original people, they're not getting it right. I don't get it.
It's mind-boggling. It's very weird. It's very weird.
I just have no explanation. I can't explain it logically. I don't know the logic. All I know is from that that thing we mentioned before, where Blood Count mentioned that the team come up with ideas and then they pass it off to the higher up. I forgot his name. And then he just kind of tweaks their ideas a little bit. He doesn't impose on them.
Yeah, that's a very bottom-up style of design, which, like, I don't think you should be doing that, especially for, like, a video game. There should be a level of top-down instruction coming down for what stuff should look like and be like.
Absolutely, that's how it should be. The leader should be leading the team that's trying to make something. This is why the story's all messed up. You probably have one team doing one thing over here, and then another team doing something else over there. That's why the story isn't coherent.
Yeah, 100%. Because for all we know, they're picking characters based on other criteria that's not related to the story, and then saying, well, these characters need to be in the story because they're in the game. I'm not saying it's definite, but I could see with the way it was described how stuff works there, that could be happening.
Whose turn is it for the list now?
Well, that art style was mine because, like, you agree, right? You would love to see a game that kind of was in the style of of Snowblind or Scorpion's Revenge. Visually.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
that's
absolutely,
so cool.
yeah. Because it looks like I'm watching Mortal Kombat. I feel like I'm having a Mortal Kombat experience, and I like the way Hanzo Hasashi was designed in the animation. To me, it reminded me of Samurai Jack. You know, when Samurai Jack's, I think, 5th season, where he has long hair and a beard. It reminded me of that. And it felt like Samurai Jack is in hell, clawing his way out of hell.
And the side benefit would be, since it's not ultra realistic, fatalities and stuff wouldn't be ultra realistic anymore either. They would be stylized and cool, just like they look like in the movies.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
like,
I think it's your turn now.
Okay. So I had 2 things on the list, but I think we can cross them off. One of them was music, which we already mentioned. If you want to say something about music, or shall we just pass over it?
I'm on board with everything you said about music. We need old stuff back, remix it, and give us new stuff that's in a similar tone.
Yeah, and stop giving us generic bullshit like what we see in the main menu of Mortal Kombat 1. So we had that shitty Liu Kang peaceful theme music, and then we have an even shittier Chaos Reigns theme music in the main menu, and it's so goddamn terrible. It's so bad. I just can't stress how bad it is. It's so generic. It's like trumpets or whatever in the background, and they're trying to play some Warner Brothers cinematic movie in the background. It's so shit.
It's not good. I'm not. Maybe we're being a little more harsh on it because it's in a Mortal Kombat menu. Like, maybe it would work for something else just fine, but it just doesn't feel like it fits.
It would work in a DVD of a menu music for a DVD of some movie somewhere that's not Mortal Kombat. It would work fine there because you don't need to pay attention to it. It's not relevant. But it's in Mortal Kombat. I come from Mortal Kombat Deception. I'm looking at the not the character select screen music, the main menu music. Dark, gritty. You feel like, oh man, I've entered a dark place right now. You know, it gives you the feeling. And this MK1 stuff, it's just shit.
Why are we getting kind of relaxing stuff in a Mortal Kombat game? Like,
yeah,
I don't hype people up.
I don't give a shit about Liu Kang's peaceful world. It doesn't matter if it's a peaceful world. Are there not wars in peaceful worlds? What was Shao Kahn doing all that time in his wars? What were his wars about? Was he just having a little martial arts competition? Was that what war was all about?
Yeah, they're having they were everything was done via a game of cornhole in Outworld. They'd get their bean bags and throw them.
They're playing polo.
Yeah, whoever wins, all right, you conquer this territory, and that's why Shao Kahn gets his ass kicked so much in the game. He wasn't really good. He was really good at polo. He wasn't really good at fighting.
Yeah, he tried. He was trying to use the hammer, and he jumped on Motaro's back, and he plays polo.
I was just gonna say he's on Motaro. You read my mind.
Oh man! And then this farm boy comes out with his farmer muscles, and then kicks everybody's ass.
Everyone's shocked that he's punching people. Like, what's he doing?
Yeah, what?
Where's his horse?
There's no professional fighter in Mortal Kombat. They have a military commander of Outworld who's getting his ass shat on by everybody, including Reptile. What the hell? Come on, NRS. What the fuck are you doing, man?
Why? Just why? So you said you got those two crossed off. What else do we? Oh, you said you have another one that you thought you could cross off.
Yeah, it just says make the characters according to their lore, how they're supposed to be. Stop the path of MK1. So we have talked plentiful about their designs. I can
That's
move.
an interesting one.
Mhm.
With one of with my second to last one,
Okay.
and it was to codify characters. Which what I mean by that is, and this is kind of a wish list item, not only for this whatever comes next, but whatever comes after what's next.
Okay.
Make the characters have an identity for how they play, what their combos are like, what their moves do and are like, and what their playstyle is, and then, and this will sound crazy for Mortal Kombat, stick to it.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. You know how much it pisses me off to jump back to MKX, and then I'm trying to do the Sub-Zero freeze ball move, and it's like, what? Why is this not working? Oh, because it's down, forward, the other button instead of this button. And then I go to MK11 and it's different again. It's pisses me off, that does.
And like this goes all the way back to like, you know, even in the 3D era when they're like, oh, these guys have all these fighting styles, and then in the next game we're gonna swap a bunch of them around, including their weapons or their just fighting styles. Like, why? Why are we changing this? And it causes the same situation you said all the time, where like, what's Sub-Zero gonna play like in the next game? I don't know. Maybe he'll be Rushdown. Maybe he'll be a zoner. Maybe he'll be a defensive character. Hell, maybe he'll be an ice grappler. Who knows? Flip a coin. Roll a die.
It sounds like
I hate it.
It sounds like chaos reigns at NetherRealm Studios.
Is, you know, Ed Boon, blink twice if you're being held captive by Havoc.
Yeah, we'll save you.
Codify the characters and keep them that way going forward. That way people can build legacy skills and come back to a new game feeling like their work in the last game paid off.
Yeah, exactly. Like the same way what you can play in Tekken. Like, I was surprised when I was playing, I said this already, with Jin, and I was doing that move from Tekken 3. One, you know that move where he spin kicks and he spins 3 times and kicks you? The tornado spin kick or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it's like a hell kick or something. Something like that is the name. But I know exactly the one you mean.
Yeah, the Mishima style, which he uses on Kazuya in the end of the story.
Yep.
Yeah. So, flipping out. Let's just move on to the next thing.
For sure.
Do you have the next thing on your list, or?
My last thing is just one. Well, it's 2 words. It's one thing. Online rooms.
Oh yeah.
That's it. That's all I have to say about it, because everyone knows what we're all talking about. That's all I need to say.
I think everybody shat on them good about that. So hopefully they're gonna take the lesson. They're gonna do it properly next time.
Yeah, don't dig your heels in, NRS. Don't cross your hands over your chest and get pouty. Take the L, give us rooms. It's crazy you don't have them in MK1.
Yeah, man, you want money. So just do the stuff and we'll give you the money. Like, how simple can it get?
Yeah, bring it back.
Okay.
But yeah, that's all I have to say about that, because everyone knows what that is.
All right, I'll rush through the last bits. It's been like 2 hours, right?
Sure.
Okay, so 1v1 and tag mode. That's what I want to see in MK13. I had a lot of fun with tag mode when I was playing with my brother, the arcade tower in MK9, where I'm doing a combo and then I quickly call him in. He does his combo, then he quickly calls me in, and it's just so much fun jumping back and forth between me and my brother, trying to get up the arcade tower. A lot of fun that was.
It's super hype.
Yeah, and then
And like, don't worry, NRS, if you are listening to this by any chance, if anyone there is listening to this, the tag mode doesn't need to be balanced. Just include it as a fun thing people can play if they want.
yeah, you don't have to do tournaments with it. Just put it in there. It'll be fun.
Like, I have seen the most broken fighting games in the world played competitively. It doesn't matter if tag mode is broken. If it's fun, people will play it casually, and then people will play it competitively just because it'll be funny to do.
Yeah.
Just put it in.
Yeah, can you imagine how it would look like online in today's world? So, for example, let's say me and you, like you pick your character, I pick my character. We can make our own little deadly alliance and just go out and rampage on the world, and we'll run into like two notorious people who team up all the time, and then we'll be like, okay, we're gonna work together, we're gonna do this. You know, that a lot more people are involved then. It's so much fun.
Oh my! And you just made the perfect point. The first time you do that online, like, you get the trophy and it's just called the new Deadly Alliance, or you just call the mode Deadly Alliance.
Yeah, exactly. Gosh, every time we come up with ideas that they haven't done, it just flabbergasts me. Like, I just become despondent.
Some of the stuff is so easy. It's like, homie, it's right on the table. Pick it up. Just pick it up.
Exactly. Okay, so
we don't need to cook. You already cooked. We're just pointing to the food.
yeah. I like the way you put that. That's good. Okay, next one. The realms. I want the realms involved in the games. Just like in Deception, how we were able to run through different realms. So in the next game, I want realms heavily involved in the game. I don't want to see Edenia and Outworld combined into one realm. I don't want to see Chaos Realm and there's no such thing as Order Realm or whatever it was in MK1. I want to see all of the realms and there's a central hub and you can run between them. Like, for example, there's a mode, you know, like in, I think it's in Tekken 8, where you have a little character and you can run around and challenge people. So
yeah, the fun little story kind of thing they did.
Yeah, if they have something like that where you can run around and challenge people and you can run between realms and you choose your faction, like, okay, I'm with the Outworld people, I'm with the Tarkatans, I'm with the Linkway. You know, imagine, and like you can gang up on each other and stuff. Like, the ideas are just spilling out themselves. Wow. Why are they not doing it?
Yeah, make that as part of your conquest mode, where you have a bunch of different realms, and the maps don't need to be gigantic, but you could do fun stuff with that. Like, you know, Mortal Kombat loves to do like daily challenges, right?
Yeah.
So like, imagine if a daily challenge drops in the thing where it's like, oh, you know, win 10 fights against Tarkatans, and you could do that by playing online and just fighting 10 Barakas, or you can go into conquest mode and go over to Outworld, and there's an area where Tarkatans are around, and you can go fight them.
Yeah. Or Shao Kahn's come back from the dead, and he's building his thing over there. Go kill him, and then everyone's over there trying to kill him.
Yeah, you could do fun stuff like that. Just like, you know, incorporate that mode into the, you know, everyone loves the always online stuff from the corporation standpoint. They love that kind of gaming. So, like you said, have the realms, and then you can incorporate fun stuff like that where you'd also be teaching people like lore stuff, because if someone goes like, well, what's a Tarkatan? Maybe they need to go online and go, oh, what's a Tarkatan? And they goes, oh, Baraka's race. And they go, oh, I saw those guys over in Conquest mode. I'm going to go back into I think they were in Outworld. I'm going to go in there and fight them. And then, oh, they're getting invested now in what's going on. They're learning stuff as they play.
Exactly, and you could have a school for each character as well. Like for example, there's a Lin Kuei Temple, and there's a little section in the Lin Kuei Temple where they teach you how to play Sub-Zero, or you learn the lore of Sub-Zero as well. You can go to the Lin Kuei Temple to learn about the lore of Sub-Zero, and maybe in the Lin Kuei Temple there's like hidden chambers underneath which are not unlocked yet, and then 6 months later you get an item. Which, for like how Taven. So, Taven has his armor, and the Lin Kuei couldn't break through that wall. They needed Taven to come and use his armor. Finally, after all that time, he's come, and what was it? He had a symbol on his hand or something where he could open the door, and then he got the armor. So, if we have stuff like that, like for example, the Grandmaster's medallion is missing, go find it. You go find it, bring it back, and you unlock a chamber in the Lin Kuei Temple and get some prizes or something, or I don't know. The prizes are kind of shit in the crypt in MK11.
See, this Napper is why you need to experience Street Fighter's World Tour mode, because there were parts of the game that didn't unlock until new DLC characters came out. And then they added storylines in the mode where you could go into the places that you could see but you couldn't get to, and you could find those characters and they could become your mentors to learn their attacks and to learn their lore. They would text message you while you were running around the city. It was great.
See, I'm not lying when I say I didn't know any of that. I just thought of this up on the spot right now. I'm not a Street Fighter player. I played Street Fighter 2 or 3 a long time ago. I'm not a Street Fighter player. I didn't know any of this stuff, and I came up with this idea just like that. And NRS,
because it's a good idea.
Yeah, but NRS is giving us this board game shit where you're running from one node to the next node with a really slow animation, and you're watching another animation of the dragon logo in flames, and then you see the two fighters, and it's like you knock them out with one hit as well.
Oh yeah, it's super boring.
What a load of shit. Come on, NRS, you can do better.
See, you came up with that whole idea that is really appealing to you as both a player and a fan, and that's exactly what Capcom did, because they were thinking the same exact way. And it's awesome.
Yeah, I would spend hours on such a game. I'm not really much of a gamer. I just do it on streams. But I would just go back into gaming if I had that kind of experience.
See, you said that, and now another 2-hour video just dropped. Napper exposed fake gamer.
Anyway.
This is the most devastating Napper stream of all time. He will never recover from this stream.
I exposed myself big time today. I'm not even English.
Oh no! It's all a fraud.
Okay.
Napper's gonna get up from his computer as soon as we wrap up and walk away, and it's gonna be like the Mortal Kombat movie where he morphs into Shang Tsung as he walks away and just smiles, as he's been faking it for everyone and fooling us.
Anyway, yeah. So the next, I got 3 more here. I'll see if I can condense them. So, yeah, the realms, I've already talked about them. Yeah, I want the realms to be exactly as they should be. For example, Outworld. I want the skies to be purple. I want the mud to be purple. I want the grass to be purple. And I don't want it to look like some Middle Eastern marketplace. A Middle Eastern marketplace where Kotal Khan has a little fight with Kung Jin.
You gotta start hashtag MOPA. Make Outworld purple again.
Make Outworld purple again. That's, what's his name? Total MK. That's his, thing, isn't it?
Maybe it is. Yeah, I agree with him then in that regard. Make Outworld purple again. It used to look super cool. Now it looks like lame. Looks really boring.
And they even had the balls, the goal to say in MKX's story, don't believe everything you read online, because somebody mentioned that I thought Outworld was purple.
I don't know. I expected the sky to be purple or something.
Don't believe everything you see online.
And what makes you an expert?
Shaolin archives. Showing, Arcus.
And it is purple in Mortal Kombat 9, so what are they talking about?
Yeah, it is purple. What the hell are you doing? Why is it Middle Eastern now?
It's so weird. Alright, what else you got on that list?
Yeah, let's wrap this up now. Yeah, I already mentioned how we want to experience Mortal Kombat beyond the fighting. We don't just want to be told everything in the story mode. We want to explore the game and find out things for ourselves. The more we invest, the more we learn, and that's a fun experience of itself. So that's what we want.
Yeah, people loved stuff with Floyd. Give us more Easter egg stuff like that, where people can get together as a community and hunt stuff down.
Yeah, I wish there's these hackers or whatever who look into the game files and they ruin the surprise. I hate that. I wish that would stop happening, but I can't control it, so... Floyd could have just been some random pop-up in someone's stream and it would have been fun. Like, whoa, what's this? But...
You know, the best way to do that is they need to put a bunch of fake stuff in there, and then no one will know what's real and what's not.
Good idea.
Could work.
Right, the last one. Let's see here. Okay, I wrote here, don't drag men down to make women look strong. So, it's prevalent in MK11 and MK1, where men are being dragged down just to make the women look great. Where men can be men where they are, and women can be amazing too. Look at Tekken. Men are men, women are women, and it's a great game. I had to cough there. It's been too long. We've been talking for too long.
Yeah, the rule should be make everyone badass. You don't need to make someone lame to make someone look badass.
Yeah, make everybody badass. Make Liu Kang the most badass leader of Earthrealm ever. And then make Sindel, like, try to match him in stature, in grandiose, you know?
Yeah, and that creates a good dynamic where you get to see them both doing their thing. Make Raiden tough. Make Shao Kahn cool. Like, I think we all hate lame Shao Kahn. Like,
yeah.
He should be cool.
He should be cool, yeah. Raiden should just be walking around and there's like thunder. There's thunderclaps from the sky. Something.
He should be imposing. There should be that edge to people.
Because Raiden was 7 foot in the old games, apparently.
Yeah, he was a big bastard. He was scary. He was intimidating.
And now, it's just a kid with a little bit of jewelry. That has to stop.
Yeah, and he fights like the other Shaolin guys, where it's like, oh, that's less interesting.
Yeah, we had a whole scene in MK1 where we were watching Sindel with a samurai sword versus Sindel with a samurai sword. I did not find that interesting at all. The reason I didn't find it interesting is we didn't really see any of the men do anything great. And now we're being forced to watch a lady do something. And it's not even fun. Like, I want the men to be brought up, and I want the women to be brought up as well. I want everyone to be a badass, not just generic.
Yeah, and it sucks when you file the teeth off a lot of stuff. You lose opportunities like that. If you make Melina and Katana sisters that get along, you lose the opportunity to have a really cool, brutal fight between Katana and Melina, which would make them both look cool, but we can't have that now.
Yeah. And, there's some concept art of Sindel online where, I think it's mods or something, where it looks like that Deception skin, which was not too bad, and then her hair is massive, and she looks like a grand queen of Edenia or something when she's looks like that, as compared to her normal form in MK1. It just looks like an ordinary lady with spandex.
Yeah, which is a real shame. Like, you're losing that mysticism about Mortal Kombat. Like, before Sindel, her hair moves all the time, and she has like blank white eyes. And it's like, she doesn't look human. Guess what? She's not.
Yeah, and she's over 10,000 years old. Actually, Katana's 10,000 years old, so who knows how old Sindel is. And she's a ruler of a realm. She should have a grandness about her, you know? Something like you enter into Edenia or Outworld or whatever, you enter into Sindel's space. It should be so grand. Like, whoa, what is this architecture?
Yeah, it should be regal. You should be stepping into like a royal palace of a people that have existed for thousands upon thousands of years. Think about the stuff that we have from people that were only around for like 100.
Exactly. And not to mention as well, they have Shokan and Motaros to help them build stuff. It would be even more grand than what humans can make, right?
They got that a little right in, if I could point positively to Mortal Kombat X again. When you see them doing the Kotal Khan stuff, they're making huge monuments to him.
Yeah.
Like you can see them constructing it in the background of the stage, and that's awesome.
And then in contrast to what we actually got was this bullshit where when Raiden won the tournament, he knocked Shao Kahn over and Shao Kahn fell on his ass. Sindel stood up. Sindel stood up and just walked off, and that's it. The tournament's over. No grand celebration, no grand, the grandness is not there. It's just some guys watching two people throw their hands and then, okay, it's over. Let's go home.
There wasn't even like a big fanfare because it's being watched by like 5 people. There wasn't even a big crowd. Like, again, in Mortal Kombat 9, you have the arena with Shao Kahn that's like thousands of people around them watching.
Exactly. It's like the realms hang in the balance. Like, it's a big event. It's the biggest event. It's like Doomsday or something. You gotta be there. And the best fighters of the realm, they gotta be training and be like, okay, I want to be put forward to be the candidate for your realm. Oh no, we got Shao Kahn, the victor of the Tavarian War. Oh, we got Li Mei, some ordinary police lady. Who else? They don't
Reiko, who can beat no one.
He can fight good, but he can't beat anybody.
Like, think about, like, in real life, think about the crowds we get for, like, boxing and MMA and pro wrestling, and those don't have the fate of the world on the line.
No.
But the one in the tournament in Mortal Kombat 1 is like, yeah, there's, like, a handful of people here. No one really cares.
Yeah. The tournament's over. Oh, it's round 1? Okay, then. See you later. Bye.
Just another Thursday in Outworld. Like, oh, that's who won? All right, cool, bye.
Yeah. And Raiden's the only one who gets happy. I did it! I can't believe I did it!
Everyone's already moved on, and they're like grabbing sodas and hot dogs and just walking away. He's like, oh, okay. Well, yay me. Hooray.
Like Kung Lao and Johnny Cage are like, so what are we standing around here for? Like, are we supposed to do something? What a shit show, man.
Yeah, we can just leave. Yeah, Liu Kang's like, we can just leave. It's like
okay,
the
good game, everybody.
Yeah, like Raiden throws this giant lightning bolt to win, and then he runs over and like everyone's talking. He's like, guys, did you see me win? Like, oh yeah, that was a really good punch. And he's like, what? It wasn't a punch. Whatever, guys. Okay. Super disappointed, Raiden. No one cares.
Just imagine if they did it right. Like, Raiden is he is the Earthrealm's champion. He's the dominating force. Every step he takes, somebody gets a thunder shock on him. The crowd, they have to stay back there like, don't go past this line, because if you do, this battle is going to get intense and someone's going to get hurt. And the arena should be so grand, it's like massive, huge, because Raiden can fly, and Shao Kahn can whack people flying. And there should be such a grand battle that the floor caves in and like they go right down into the next arena below, and there's cameras watching them because they're out of sight, and Raiden thunder shocks the whole place, and the whole place is fucked up.
Yeah, like you get the front row has like the tarps they can raise up to protect themselves from blood getting sprayed on them.
Yeah. But no, all we have is, okay, yeah, little taekwondo tournament.
Oh,
okay.
It's a nice little garden. That's where we're gonna have the end of this tournament. Just what?
Fucking lame, man.
Now, if you hit Shao Kahn, don't hit him through too hard because you might knock him into Sindel's azaleas, and she really likes those flowers. So take it easy, guys. Don't roughhouse over here.
That's funny. Oh yeah, we don't have the Umgadi and the Lin Kuei in this tournament because that would be like too much. Like then you would really know combat. Then you would be tested, as Liu Kang says. Fucking losers.
Then you'd really be tested. All right, so when do I fight those guys? Oh no. We're just putting you in a fight for the fate of the realm. We're not gonna have you fight any of the Lin Kuei. That would be actually serious. Calm down.
That would be a real fight. we don't want to do that. We don't want to cause trouble. What a load of shit, man. Why would you not put your best forward if you're risking something about your realm? Fuck this, man. This is some bullshit.
I like how we started positive and then at the end of the stream we've come back to, oh man, I hate that stuff in the story.
Ah, damn. I think we should wrap it up before it gets a bit too, too much for Sindel's little garden.
Yeah, yes, very true. We had to balance it a little bit. We had a lot of sugar. We had a little salt and spice at the end. That's fine.
Yeah, hey, I appreciate you having a conversation here. Like it's not possible without you. I mean, I could do it myself, but it would not be as fun. And I'm sure people would love to hear your voice rather than mine all the time. So, thanks a lot.
Yeah, it's fun as always, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'll see what we can do next time if you're up for it again.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Okay then. Thanks, mate. I'll stop recording now.
All right.